a sequel that became more legendary than the original, a movie so expensive studios predicted it would bomb, and practical effects so groundbreaking they still hold up over 30 years later. In 1991, James Cameron didn't just make an action movie, he created a masterpiece that redefined what sequels could be, blending cutting-edge CGI with heart-pounding practical stunts and genuine emotion. From secret actor cameos to hidden connections with the first film, this movie is packed with details most fans never noticed. These are the cinema secrets you missed in Terminator 2.
Jesus, you were gonna kill that guy!
Of course, I'm a Terminator.
Judgment Day number 1, the benthic petroleum Easter egg. When they stop at the gas station, look at the logo on the fuel pumps. It's benthic petroleum, the same company from Cameron's previous film, The Abyss. This small detail suggests both films exist in the same universe, a subtle shared world connection Cameron built years before cinematic universes became Hollywood's obsession. The logo appears clearly on multiple pumps throughout the scene. An eagle-eyed fan spotted it immediately upon release, sparking theories about a connected Cameron universe that predated Marvel by decades. Number 2, Edward Furlong's voice kept breaking during filming. Production lasted so long that Edward Furlong's voice began changing. They had to redub many of his lines because his voice kept cracking and deepening throughout the shoot. If you watch carefully, John looks noticeably younger in the desert scenes because those were filmed first. The scenes at the mall and hospital were shot later when Furlong was older, creating slight continuity issues with his appearance and voice. The production team worked overtime in post-production to match his vocal tones, but some scenes still show the dramatic shift in his adolescent voice. Number 3. The nuclear explosion was scientifically accurate. Cameron received a letter from a nuclear weapons laboratory thanking him for creating the most realistic depiction of a nuclear explosion they'd ever seen in film. The nightmare sequence, where Sarah watches the playground incinerate, was meticulously researched. The way the blast wave hits, how the playground equipment melts, and how Sarah's flesh burns away were all based on actual scientific data about nuclear detonations. Cameron consulted with weapons experts and physicists to ensure every frame matched the horrifying reality of what a nuclear strike would actually look like. Number 4. Arnold's gun weighed 85 pounds. The minigun Arnold fires at the police is the same weapon used in Predator. The weapon system weighed 85 pounds and had to be modified to work for filming. Arnold actually had to carry this massive weight while performing the scene, and the physical strain shows in his movements. The gun fires over 50 rounds per second, and they used thousands of blank rounds for the sequence. This weapon became one of the most iconic images from the film. The prop department created a lighter version for some shots, but Arnold insisted on using the real weight for authenticity in close-ups. Number 5. The writer appears in both films, as the same character co-writer William Wisher Jr. has cameos in both Terminator movies. In the first film, he's the cop whose car gets stolen by Arnold in T2. He's the photographer at the mall taking pictures when Arnold is lying on the ground. Cameron later confirmed these are actually the same character, which is why in the mall scene he seems to recognize the Terminator, because he's seen him before. This brilliant continuity detail adds an extra layer of connection between both films that only the most dedicated fans have discovered. Number 6. The helicopter flew under a freeway overpass for real. The incredible helicopter chase where the T-1000 pilots under the freeway wasn't CGI, they actually did it. The stunt pilot performed the dangerous maneuver for real because Cameron tried it with early CGI and it looked fake. This death-defying stunt is one of the reasons T2's action still feels visceral and realistic decades later. When you watch modern movies with obvious green screen helicopter shots, you can see why Cameron insisted on practical effects. The pilot practiced the run multiple times without cameras rolling, and insurance companies nearly shut down production over the risk. Number 7. Linda Hamilton's twin sister played her in mirror scenes. The famous scene where they open Arnold's head and spin the camera around to show both sides was achieved with mirrors and doubles. Linda Hamilton's twin sister, Leslie Hamilton, played Sarah in several scenes. She appears in the mirror sequences and also plays the younger Sarah in the nuclear nightmare playground scene. Because Linda was so muscular from training, Leslie's softer appearance worked perfectly for the dream sequence showing Sarah before she became a warrior. The seamless doubling effect fooled audiences completely, and most viewers had no idea they were watching two different actresses in these pivotal moments. Number 8. the most expensive movie ever made at the time. When T2 went into production, it became the most expensive film ever made. Studios and media predicted it would never make its money back. Cameron was taking a massive gamble. The film cost over $100 million, an astronomical sum for 1991, but Cameron proved everyone wrong. T2 made over $500 million at the box office and became the third highest-grossing film of all time at that point. Adjusted for inflation, it would still be considered a massive blockbuster today. Studio executives who doubted Cameron ate their words when the film dominated the summer box office and won multiple Academy Awards. Number 9. The T-1000 only shoots at John Connor. Watch carefully. The T-1000 only ever fires his gun directly at John. Every single bullet is meant for the target. He kills people who get in his way, but he never wastes ammunition on anyone else. Even during the mall chase and the semi-truck pursuit, every shot is aimed at John Connor. This shows the machine's singular focus and efficient programming. Terminate the target, nothing else matters. It's a subtle detail that demonstrates the T-1000 model's cold, calculated nature and its superiority over the more brutal T-800 model from the original number 10. James Cameron's screams became the T-1000's death. When the T-1000 falls into the molten steel and morphs through all its previous forms while screaming, those aren't actor Robert Patrick's screams. Cameron himself provided the agonized screaming sounds. The director's own voice became the death cry of one of cinema's most terrifying villains, adding a personal touch to the machine's destruction. Cameron recorded multiple takes of himself screaming in agony, which were then layered and distorted to create the haunting, inhuman death sounds that close out the film. Number 11. Dogs always know who the machines are. In both Terminator films, dogs bark at the machines. When the T-1000 arrives at John's foster parents' house asking about him, listen carefully in the background. Their dog is barking. Later, when Arnold arrives and the dog is silent, he knows something's wrong. He calls the dog by the wrong name to test the foster father, and when the response confirms his suspicions, Arnold realizes they're already dead. This subtle detail connects both films and shows the machines can't fool animals, only humans. It's a brilliant callback that rewards viewers who paid attention to the original film's world-building about how animals instinctively detect Terminators. Number 12. The Skynet edition required a secret code. The most complete version of T2, called the Skynet edition, is so secretive that when you put the Blu-ray in and press play, you have to enter a code from the back of the box to watch it. This edition includes the future epilogue, showing an older Sarah watching Senator John Connor in a peaceful timeline where Judgment Day never happened. It also had plans to show young Kyle Reese, but Sarah couldn't speak to him, only watch from a distance. The elaborate security measure was a marketing gimmick that made fans feel like they were accessing classified Skynet files themselves. Number 13. Arnold compromised on the no-killing rule. When Arnold read the script and saw the Terminator couldn't kill anyone, he was initially frustrated. He felt it would limit the character's effectiveness. Cameron compromised with him. Arnold could shoot people in the legs and kneecaps, causing incapacitating but non-lethal injuries. If you watch the hospital shootout, Arnold is deliberately aiming low, taking out security guards' legs. 10 minutes later, when they escape, you can still see wounded guards rolling on the floor. This compromise allowed Arnold to maintain the Terminator's intimidating presence while making the character heroic rather than villainous. In this sequel, number 14, the cop, was played by an amputee for the frozen effect. When the T-1000 gets frozen by liquid nitrogen and Arnold shoots him into pieces, the shattering effect used a real amputee actor. They cast his body and created prosthetic pieces that could realistically break apart. This practical effect combined with CGI created one of the most memorable moments in the film. Seeing the seemingly indestructible villain frozen and shattered before reforming. The actor's participation allowed for realistic physics and weight distribution that pure CGI couldn't achieve at the time, making the sequence unforgettable. Number 15. The dropped shell casing saves Sarah's life. When Sarah is backing away from the T-1000 at the steel mill, she's loading shells into her shotgun and drops one on the floor. The camera focuses on it falling. Later, when she's trying to shoot the T-1000 into the molten steel, her gun runs out of bullets just before she can finish him off. If she hadn't dropped that shell earlier, she would have had enough ammunition to complete the job herself. That tiny moment of setup pays off in the climax. This is Masterful, Chekhov's gun storytelling, a small detail planted early that becomes crucial to the film's tension-filled final moments. Number 16, the T-1000's glitching was cut from theatrical release. The extended edition shows the T-1000 glitching after being frozen and shattered. Its liquid metal form can't fully stabilize. You see it accidentally taking on textures from things it touches, its feet morphing into the grated floor, and its uniform mixing up the cop outfit with biker clothes. These details were cut from the theatrical version, but add crucial context for why the T-1000 eventually fails. The damage was catastrophic. It just took time to show Cameron remove these scenes to maintain pacing, but they explain why the supposedly superior T-1000 becomes vulnerable at the steel mill. Number 17. The Third Hand, piloting the helicopter. During the helicopter chase, watch the T-1000 closely. He's firing the gun, reloading, and somehow still piloting the helicopter in one split-second shot. You can see he's grown a third arm to control the aircraft while his other hands operate the weapon. This tiny detail shows the T-1000's liquid metal abilities in a practical way. Most viewers completely miss during the intensity of the chase. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment that demonstrates the machine's tactical superiority and its ability to multitask in ways no human possibly could. Number 18. The entire opening was designed to trick you. The arrival sequences were deliberately crafted to make audiences think the T-1000 was the hero. When Arnold arrives, he walks into a biker bar and violently steals clothes, acting exactly like the villain from the first film. Meanwhile, the T-1000 arrives as a police officer, politely asking questions and seeming professional. This reversal was Cameron's masterstroke. The trailer even spoiled the twist, but if you went in blind, the first act completely fooled you about who was hunting John and who was protecting him. Cameron was furious that the marketing department revealed the twist, as he'd carefully constructed the narrative misdirection throughout the opening act. Which secret shocked you most? And do you think the theatrical ending or the future epilogue works better? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, there's no fate but what we make for ourselves. Now like, subscribe, and share before Judgment Day arrives. Thanks for watching.